First thing to say is a big shout out to Bailey Rice. I've been at the game, folks. I haven't had any commentary. I haven't had a chance to check anything online. Just as he was getting stretchered off, just going over the track to go down the tunnel, I could see him waving, giving folk a thumbs up. So hopefully that is the case, and he is actually okay. What a shift he put in, what a shift everybody put in. There's a bloody ambulance just went past the back of the Copeland Road stand here. You know how folk usually gather to get autographs off the players once they're showered and changed and getting back to their cars. There's all these toilets here as well, these kind of mobile toilets at Portaloos. That's what they're called, Alec. Paellas, Pinchos, Pesetos, Portaloos, Plucky, Protestant. What a phenomenal night. What an utterly phenomenal night from Rangers. We got a point for that one night, didn't we? A point as well, well earned. But the ambulance going past here, it's going to be for Bailey Rice, it's going to be for perhaps John Sterling. I certainly hope not, but it could have been for any one of us. I know I'm old and very, very fat, but stay at me, I've just seen myself in this horrible mirror of a camera and I look like I've been on the bevy all day. I've had a drink since Saturday night. No, honest to goodness, I've had a drink since Saturday night. I've had a few bits and bobs today. This week I've been quite busy, but this is just all pure stress of the most beautiful kind for the last, was it 10 hours? It seemed to go on longer than the Fenerbahce home tie. The penalties and the extra time. This seemed to drag on even longer than that. I was seriously in danger of requiring an ambulance myself, and I don't care. I'd be quite happy to do it all again right now. That was magnificent. That was absolutely magnificent. I've been doing a wee thing. I'm really crying with pride here with Rangers. I had to do a wee thing. It's probably the course of the last year. I've had basically the whole process takes about a year anyway. It's just a wee 1,500 words, barely even a couple of pages, kind of bio thing that I've got to write for somebody. But Walter Smith, they wanted a wee biography of Walter Smith, and I've hated doing it because I just don't have the time to describe. You don't have the words. That's you could do 15 books about Walter Smith, never mind 1,500 words. And I'm just terrified that I'm selling them short. I mean, hardly anybody's going to read it. It's quite a niche thing that it's writing for. That I'm writing for, but I was having to, and one thing I had to put in, one thing I just had to get in there in describing the greatest Rangers manager of my life was we beat St Mirren in the League Cup final with 9 men. I remember going to that game that day. I remember travelling along to that game, took the car and getting down to Westcott Road and that in the car, and having to wave St Mirren supporters into the right direction. Didn't know what turn to take. They hadn't been there that often, these St Mirren fans. They weren't going to Hampden a lot. And at the same time, I was still listening to Radio Scotland at the time, or Sports Sound at the time, and this Chick Young was talking. Obviously, Chick Young, big St Mirren fan. The St Mirren fan with the greatest eyesight in the world, because he would watch them from the back of the Copeland Road stand. I think it was Off the Ball said that. He's talking on the radio about how it's a great day for St Mirren. It means so much to them. It's often they get to any kind of cup final, and I'm thinking this is the thing for us. We need to chew up domestic cup finals. We need to chew up domestic trophies. That's been a problem for Rangers of late. So when do we get that kind of glory? When we beat Celtic, perhaps, in a cup final in Scotland, we're always the bad guys. How can there ever be a situation where we're the heroes, we're the romantic fairy tale for the day? And it's almost like if you ask a question about football, it gets answered. And we went down to 9 men during that game, and it was 0-0, and we managed to pull it off, and it was one of the greatest days ever watching Rangers. And this night is right up there. It's right up there. The 9 men getting out there and doing it Walter style. Walter who dropped Barry. He dropped Barry. We brought him into the first team before Dick Advocat arrived. We all think it was Advocat that brought Barry on. He did certainly improve him, but Walter brought Barry into Rangers, and when Walter returned for his second stint as Rangers manager, he had to discipline Barry in a way that I wanted him disciplined, because I thought Barry had been out of order with the way he dealt with Le Guin, and it took a couple of years, but eventually there was stupid stuff with Scotland, and Walter, who had been Scotland manager, just had to say, no, that's not a Ranger, that's not how you behave. And Barry Ferguson has come in and repaid him since he's come back in as interim manager by taking the job in the first place. I was terrified for him when he took that job, terrified for what he's doing. He can still get hammered over in Bilbao, you never know. But I think we still have a situation where Celtic could still win the league at Ibrox, because they keep slipping up as well, the useless gits. So there's every chance they're going to have to end up winning the title here, because we're awful at home, aren't we? But tonight, you saw Barry, the minute he took the reins at Robbie Park, went 2-0 down, instantly changed it. Taking off Inciala in the first half, he came back to win 4-2. I was delighted for him. When I saw him in the press conferences, I was so impressed with Barry, because he's grown up, Alec, hasn't he? Obviously he's grown up. He was a young man when he was making these mistakes. I mean, didn't he, Birmingham, and when he's won a League Cup with Birmingham, and he'd already come back from Blackburn Rovers, and I want him to stay down there and show how a Ranger plays, show the world. He felt like a son, even though I'm not massively older than him. But it felt like a son back then when he went into Blackburn. I wanted the rest of the world to see his talents, and when he come back, I thought, he's no fancy in it. But for everybody, including Graham Souness and people like that talk about him down there, they said he just romped it, he loved it, and it was actually too easy for him because there wasn't the pressure on Blackburn. He wanted the pressure of being Rangers manager, and I don't think he is going to be Rangers manager long term. I don't think he's going to go beyond the end of this season. But Jesus, it's no all black and white with stuff like this. And this football match tonight has proven you can't write your team off until it's over. You should never do that. At Rangers, we want everything to be black and white. We want things to be... We want to be chewing up all the trophies. We want to be consuming all the trophies in Scotland. And I think a lot of us don't really care that much about Europe, quite frankly. And I find it should be the other way around. You need to win in Scotland to qualify for Europe. But Europe's where you prove what you're all about. Europe's where you show yourself. It's honest. You're really trying to put your club on the map. And the way Barry coming back from Blackburn Rovers all the years ago to say, no, I prefer being here. I like it here because it's insane. It's insane intensity of having to win every week. Blackburn Rovers, the big money, English Premier League, it just doesn't have that intensity. It was one of the moments where he taught me, Rangers are the greatest team in the world. You say that sometimes a Rangers support without really believing it. He believed it. He got it wrong. He got it wrong in the way he showed that later on in his playing career. But the minute he get put back in this job, I felt so scared for him. I felt so sorry for him that all that was water under the bridge. Because his family. He gets this club like nobody else. And tonight, that was something else. Rangers were fucking magic tonight. They were absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Again, we're the romantic ones. We're the fairy tale. Athletic Bilbao have their feeling of destiny right now. This final was going to be at their ground. Did you remember Fever Pitch, the film? You've probably read the book. Nick Hornby, it'll probably get mentioned in the book as well. I remember watching the game in question. It's the peak of that story, the peak of the narrative, the story, the kind of fictionalisation, if you like, of Fever Pitch, albeit it's based on true events, is Arsenal winning the title at Anfield in 1989 when they hadn't won the league since 1971 or whatever, and they hadn't won the league since 1971, no whatever about it, Alec. And David Pleat, of course, a Spurs manager, is on co-comms with Brian Moore on the Friday night. I watched the game myself live. Back I'd be like 19, 20 years old, coming up to 20 years old. And Arsenal had to go to Anfield, and Liverpool at that time were a title-winning machine. Nobody would go to Anfield and win by 2 clear goals as they had to. And it was getting towards the final kick of the ball. And sorry, it's the emotion of that is just transplanted onto your own club. It gets a bit much. Arsenal were 1-0 up in that game, as you may well know. Alan Smith header. And it was deep into injury time, and it wasn't looking like it was going to happen. And David Pleat says the words. He says the words. Something along the lines of, it's a great consolation. It is. It's maybe no consolation for Arsenal fans, but maybe it's some consolation that they have actually come to Anfield and won. The team that's going to beat them to the league title. A great title winning side in the 80s. At least it's some consolation that they've come to Anfield and they have won. And in the film Fever Pitch, that Mark Strong is playing the friend of the Nick Hornby character, if you like, although Nick Hornby himself has a wee cameo in the film of Fever Pitch. It's Mr. Darcy, Colin Firth, he's playing him. He plays a Nick Hornby character, but it's as when David Pleat says that, he just says, oh, shut up, Pleat. Shut up, Pleat. And that's the kind of thing you say when somebody tries to hit you with platitudes and all that in a moment of deep pain. You're like, oh, shut up. Just shut up, you. And I think everybody's saying to us, and then of course Arsenal, the ball goes forwards and Michael Thomas scores the goal that puts them 2-0 up. Liverpool don't have a chance to come back, and that's it. Arsenal do win the league. They win with the 2 clear goals. And I think a lot of people will be saying, well, Rangers, at least you've got these dreams of getting to the Europa League final. At least you're going to get to go to Bilbao, in the second leg of the quarter final when you behaved so manfully in the first leg. Shut up. Do you know us? We've been to more European finals than Athletic Bilbao have ever been to, and this is how we do. Chaos. Utter chaos. Domestic chaos. Total underperformance in the domestic scene, and we channel it into a European vibe. We've been doing that since Steven Gerrard took over in 2018. We've done it historically as well. The only time we've won a European trophy. I'm sorry to keep going on about these things. If you're nice enough to watch a lot of my pods, especially the European stuff, I can't help pointing out that 1972, as many of you know, 71-72 is the only time we ever won a European trophy. We finished third in the league. We get put out in a Scottish Cup semi-finals at replay, I think, by Hibs. We'd been beaten. We didn't get to the League Cup final because Celtic beat us twice in the League Cup sectionals, the old group stages, to get at the beginning of the season, and Parkhead was getting done up at that point in time, which meant Celtic has to play their home leg at Ibrox as well. So then they played us in the league at Ibrox, so they'd beaten us 3 times. We'd lost 3 times to Celtic at Ibrox by mid-September, and here we are tonight. I mean, we go on and we win our only European trophy at the end of that season, and here we are tonight. We're on a record-losing run at Ibrox. A record-losing run. Never in our history had we lost 4 consecutive games at Ibrox, and now at Hibs on Saturday, that made it 5 consecutive games lost at Ibrox, and that run has come to an end with a 0-0 against the club that is 4th in La Liga, the third maybe most money-laden domestic league on the planet. The club that's 4th in La Liga, a club that's beaten Real Madrid this season. I know Arsenal tanked them the other night, but a club that's beaten the reigning European champions and the biggest, most successful club in the world. They've beaten them this season. And Rangers end the game with 9 men, and we hold them to a 0-0. The bastards even got a penalty, and we still saved that as well. Shove your flags of Ireland up your arse. No, I don't actually, because that's another thing. Life isn't straightforward. Life isn't simple. And when Bailey Rice was down there for a good 5-10 minutes, it felt like, I think it was about 6-7 minutes. We didn't really know what had happened to him, and he gets in the stretcher, and all the Athletic Club fans were applauding as well. And apologies every time I quote his Athletic Bilbao. It's terrible. It's up there with Sporting Lisbon and Atletico Bilbao and all those other kind of mistakes people make. AC Milan, technically correct, but nobody in Milan calls him that, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, folks, I'm ranting and raving because my nerves are absolutely shattered, and the pride is utterly busting through me after a phenomenal Rangers European performance. We might get hammered, we might get stuffed in the second leg, it might all come crashing down about us, but it just seems to it just keeps not happening. There can only be one more home game in Europe at Ibrox. Right now we don't know who's playing at Ibrox for the rest of the season. We don't know how many home games we've got for the rest of the season. The top 6 hasn't been sorted out yet, the last 5 domestic fixtures, and I just hope now that we have 6 fixtures at Ibrox, and one of them is another European fixture, and we've put ourselves in an incredible position, a position I couldn't really have. I did wish for, but I couldn't have imagined it would work out like this. I thought Tav was going to miss a penalty. I thought our best chance was drawing 0-0 the night, or some sort of draw, and Tav would miss a penalty right at the end, to stop his feeling in any way, positive, overly positive, to keep us grounded going into the second leg, and then we can work our away from home magic, or hit them on the break magic. But so proud, just so proud. This is your Fatek post. Rangers have yet again failed to win at Ibrox. That's 6 games in the trot, and what does Barry Ferguson expect when he makes stupid swaps like putting Liam Kelly in goals for Jack Butland, no having Igaman on for the start, having Bailey Rice on instead of Connor Barron, having, keeping hefty in the bench and starting with Ridvan Yilmaz. What kind of stuff does he expect to happen? It's an absolute embarrassment. Yet again, we've failed to come away from Ibrox with a win. Reaction pod coming to you in association with Jersnet. Check out Jersnet every Friday at 9 o'clock. I'm supposed to be in Jersey tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I'm away on holiday. I've messaged Frankie to I'm away on holiday first thing tomorrow morning. I might just get in the morning and drive down the night, to be honest with you, because I ain't getting no sleep. So apologies for that. But well, no, you're welcome. Your weekend gets even better now because you'll get somebody decent on in my place. 9 o'clock every Friday night, 9:30 every Sunday. The flagship show. I'm sponsored by Jersnet, and who else? What else can I be sponsored by? Just cloying, solipsistic, self-obsessed, anal retentive crap, real train spotting stuff that I'm always coming out with. And tonight I was going about it extensively in the preview pod last night. Athletic Club Bilbao, this is the 7th European home game we've had this season, the 7th one I've attended, and it's the first time I've seen a club that I've not seen before, and I need to get off my list. Of all the 105 teams that have been a European, 105 clubs that have been a European club final, that have played in a modern European club final. There's 105 of them. I'd seen 76 before tonight, and this was me. This was number 77. This is the first time I'd seen Athletic Club in the flesh. It was the first club I'd seen us playing this season, despite paying about £300 total for home European tickets, that I had never seen before. And so it was the first club that was new to me. And the first one I could get off my list, my special self-obsessed list. And I thought they'd scored in the 77th minute. I think it was 76. I just looked up at the clock after the ball had got in, and it was number 7. Berger, he'd just come on, number 7. I've just been in the Portaloo there. It's got 7 people this can service this toilet. It's club number 77, and Athletic Club Bilbao reached their first European final. They became a European finalist club in 1977. In 76-77 season, they got to the final of this tournament. The UEFA Cup, it's now the Europa League. That was their first year, and I thought this makes perfect sense. Number 7 has just scored in the 77th minute as well. That will shut me up with all my self-obsessed coincidences. I think it was probably 76, because by the time I looked up it said 76 in about 8 seconds, and I think I was trying to work out what had happened. But that was only the start of the craziness when it came to that moment in time. My name's Alec Anderson. I thought it was clear the plan was we would share this feeling just between ourselves. But when the music changed, the plan was rearranged. You went and danced with somebody else. Now, who's that applying to? Is it us? Is it Athletic Club Bilbao? Is the plan that we're just garbage this season? And it could still happen. We could still get 5 or 6 put past us in the away leg, and I'm not allowed to sit and polish Rangers' involvement in European football this season up as a big trophy on its own. We got to a quarter final. That's fantastic. If you take an absolute mauling, that'll be what's remembered, and you know what to talk about it. And also, I say we've got the chance of Celtic coming in and winning the league at Ibrox. So this could be the fate that everybody's expecting for us. It's just one of the crappiest seasons ever in Rangers history. It isn't really. It's nowhere near it. But getting put out of the Scottish Cup by Queen's Park, it really put a kind of tin lid on a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and that was the beginning of the end for Philip Clement. So I don't know. Maybe that's the way it's going to be. That's what everybody's expecting it to be. That's the destiny that people have got kind of sorted out for us. And maybe Rangers are going to go on and just keep proving that wrong if they can get past Athletic Club in this second leg. Or maybe the destiny we're talking about is Athletic Club. They think it's going to become the first Basque club to win a European trophy. The final is in their stadium, and it's their third time of asking. We had the same thing with the Cup Winners' Cup. The Cup Winners' Cup didn't have the handles the first year. The Cup Winners' Cup was played when we played the very first Cup Winners' Cup final here, the very first game of the very first Cup Winners' Cup final. The first leg was here at Ibrox. There was no handles in the Cup Winners' Cup when Fiorentina won it, when they beat us over the 2 legs. It was the following season, Atletico Madrid, formed by Athletic Club of Bilbao supporters. They put the handles on the handles have been put on the trophy by then. Or maybe Fiorentina put them on in the meantime. I need to sort that one out. But it was a very ugly wee cup. It was the podium, the wee kind of plinth that it was on was like a hockey puck. you know, kind of wee kind of squat thing, but it was ugly, like a pug dog. I loved it because that was our trophy. We got to 2 finals, lost them, and then the third time we won the thing, and then you get the European Cup, the big thing with the ears, which until we get it sorted out is always going to mostly remind us that Celtic have won it, and we haven't. It changed. It was before that. It was '66. That Real Madrid won it for the 6th time, and they got to keep the old trophy, which was smaller, like a vase, a bit more like the Henri Delaunay. And then we had the Fairs Cup, the old Fairs Cup trophy, when we played Athletic Club Bilbao in the quarter-final of the Fairs Cup back in 68-69. We beat them 4-1 that night, and it was John Gregg that missed a penalty. I was talking about the stag, I was talking about there's a statue in a roundabout at the turn-off in Dumbarton. There's these roundabouts in Dumbarton. We can go in for a drive-through Costa, a drive-through Starbucks. I was talking about that on my pishy parter last night. It's no much pish on this parter. And I was talking about the fact there's a roundabout with a kind of stag or something in the middle. That's is Andy Scott, the fella's name, the same guy who did the. It's absolutely beautiful. I think, is it the Lomond Gate stag? It's a gorgeous stag. I was just downplaying things, and obviously Andy Scott's the same fella who did the Kelpies and did the Ibrox Memorial, which features a beautiful sculpture of John Gregg, and John Gregg missed a penalty the last time we played Athletic Club of Bilbao, so I had it in my head Tav's going to miss a penalty tonight to keep it at 0-0, but it'll still be a great result for us, but that'll be in the back of our minds as we go into the second leg that we could have won it. Well, somebody did miss a penalty and it wasn't Tav. What the hell am I talking about? The trophies, and I feel that with the Fairs Cup, as I say, it was a wee kind of modernist thing. It looked like a fancy lighter or a fancy kind of a cocktail shaker or something like that. It's very, very streamlined. And then there was the UEFA Cup come in to replace that. Now we've got the Conference League trophy now, which is a less moulded, a less organic looking version of the old UEFA Cup. The UEFA Cup, we've been getting used to that since 1971-72, a beautiful season for us in European football, but it's got a waist, hasn't it? It's got a waist, which means it can appeal sexually to everybody. You think it's a snake-hipped Lothario of the dance floor, a Rudolph Valentino type. It appeals to, anybody who likes men in that kind of fashion, a romantic fashion. Or it's a beautiful lady, and the way that it swirls down the bottom, it comes out at the bottom, it's like a skirt, perhaps a flowing dress of a beautiful lady on the dance floor, and I thought it was clear the plan was we should share this moment just between ourselves. I don't know which dance floor dog has got his hands or her arms around that waist right now. I don't know if it's ourselves. I don't know if it's Athletic Club Bilbao. We both feel a sense of destiny. Ours is negative, theirs is positive. But we know that trophy every bit as well as them now. The Fairs Cup, it was... I'm sorry, I'm just going to rant and rave here. Kilmarnock got to the semi-final, get put out by Leeds. Dundee got to the semi-final, get put out by Leeds. We got to the semi-final, get put out by Newcastle. There's somebody else, Hibs, get put out by Roma after a playoff, the old Fairs Cup. And then it was the UEFA Cup before Scottish clubs started getting to the final. You had Dundee United in '87, you had Celtic in 2003, ourselves in 2008. I was at that one down at Manchester, and we haven't won. No Scottish clubs ever won the trophy. But then we got in the Europa League format. The final came to Hampden when the UEFA Cup final went down to one leg. The final came to Hampden the year before. We all ended up in Manchester, and it was the current Athletic Club manager, Ernesto Valverde, who was here tonight. He was the manager of Espanyol when they lost that final at Hampden the following year. We were away down to Manchester, we were in there, and then we got to a Europa League final in 2022 in Seville, in a red-seated stadium. There's a rush to try and catch the players. The fans want their autographs, and it's not just the wee kids this time like it wasn't Saturday against Hibs. Everybody wants an autograph now. And we got to that final. We have now played 2 finals for that trophy, for that beautiful slender-waisted trophy. We've lost both of them. Athletic Club of Bilbao got to the final again in 2012, and they lost to Atletico de Madrid. And Bucharest, they've played 2 finals of that trophy. Third time lucky for somebody. Third time lucky. We have the closest relationship now of any Scottish club with that trophy. We just want to get our hands on it. We just want to take that trophy home. And we continue the dance. We continue the dance tonight. Sorry, the part is awful, but I I can't really think straight after that one, Troops. It was, you saw it, you probably watched on the telly, you were at the game yourself. It's a beautiful night, just an absolutely gorgeous night. I'm walking up Craigton Roads, is that Drummoyne? I think it might be folk today talking about Drummoyne. And I'm walking up I park the car in the usual spot, and I come walking up there, and there's just a massive stop sign right across the road. Big fences up, there's what's going on in a kind of middle section of the road. If you're trying to come down to that Craigton Road off Shield Hall Road, up the main road, if you're trying to come the way I come by car, you can't get up there. You can't get up there. It's just like, it's like road ahead closed, a big massive sign saying road ahead closed. Is that an omen? Is that a bad omen? But the sun was out. It was absolutely beautiful just walking to a European game when it's daylight, and it was doubling down on that with beautiful sunshine that's been hitting Glasgow. I hate it because I can't stand the heat, but I know that's a problem completely of my own. But it looks gorgeous at this time of night. It's not as warm. It's not oppressively warm. It just looks gorgeous, and Ibrox looks resplendent. And because it was light, because we're into spring now, I forgot that I still wasn't getting there in time, so I had to do the queuing thing with everybody having trouble getting in because of their QR codes and what have you. But I got in. Good 10 minutes to go. A good 10 minutes before kick-off. I just drank in the beautiful atmosphere. Massive support from Bilbao or from the Basque Country or from Vizcaya, part of the Basque Country. Massive support from them. I don't know if is that standards at the minimum we've got to give them. I'm not nothing against the athletic club supporters. Fair play to them for coming over in those numbers. But I just thought, is that taking away tickets for Rangers supporters? I don't know. Does that mean we haven't sold it with allocation? I don't know. But it's a European quarter-final night at Ibrox, and it's a gorgeous thing to look at before it even gets started. Beautiful tifo from the Union Bears, and no sign of any kind of silly political banners. Couldn't say the same for the Athletic Club Bilbao end, but flags are flags. Everybody's got their flags. Just that football clubs are formed for political reasons, and the geography is political. The way that the map's broken up, the different countries. Anyway. It was all about the team, and I hadn't had a chance to check out the team. It's been a busy day. I just finished up a wee bit of work before I got here, and did a bit of packing for the holiday, setting off for tomorrow, and straight out to the game. I hadn't even had a chance to check my phone or anything for the team, and there it was. Jack Butland had been dropped, and Conor Barron wasn't playing. And at first it was I saw the first, oh Jesus. And the first time I saw it was up on the big Jumbotron screen between the Govan and the Copeland. That's probably the way you should see a Rangers team announced. And I'm like, oh my God. And I thought, well, who actually am I objecting to here? What's the problem? We discussed all this last night. Every change that was made by Barry Ferguson makes some kind of sense. It was a 50-50, Yilmaz and instead of Hefty. Hefty's taller, and Athletic Club have got great set pieces. Liam Kelly, that's the big one. Liam Kelly in for Jack Butland was the one. And Jack Butland he's been throwing him in the back of his net. He's been throwing it into the back of his own net. My kind of shorthand, we've all got to a wee kind of just an easy go to, almost a meme when it comes to our choices in these matters, comes to our opinions in these matters. I thought it's going to require a massive performance, and the reason I want Rangers to do this and shove the shit of our domestic season, not just up the throat of, or down the throat of our haters, but down the throat of the Rangers supporters, I would say, who've writing off Europe because we're not going to win the league again, Celtic are going to win the treble and all that. It proves that you can't let it doesn't happen smoothly. We've been spoiled any season that has happened smoothly when you can just rely on Rangers to go out and win every domestic match or win the vast majority of it and pick up all the trophies. It's a privilege. It's what we should aim for domestically with the money we have compared to everybody else except Celtic. But it really, you don't write off your European achievements because they're disproving your arguments about this. You're kind of one note. This team are just shite. They're just all pissed. They're a bunch of losers. But they're in a European quarter-final again, mate. And they're from Scotland, which isn't the most powerful club in Europe, the most powerful country in Europe by any kind of means. So my whole thing, my version of doing that myself is just that we've got a bunch of players who are capable of massive performances. It's the fact they're not doing it all season, they suddenly get criticised. So Igaman, who was mega against Nice, away to Nice, he was mega against Tottenham here, even though he should have maybe scored the winner. that night. He was fantastic against Tottenham, and I know Tottenham aren't doing too well in the Premier League, but it's still an English club, a Premier League club, an institution. Jack Butland was phenomenal against Celtic at Parkhead, setting up the winner, and then against Fenerbahce in the last round in Europe that got us into this stage. He's basically won the penalty shootout on his own. That night against Fenerbahce. So I'm thinking the guys who've played big, who've performed well, and Conor Barron was one of them. For me, he's, his form's been up and down all season, but in Europe he's generally been fantastic. I thought him, Raskin and Diamandi have been fantastic this season in Europe, especially away from home, and this was Athletic Club on such a level you'd expect it to be almost like an away match tonight in terms of possession, etc. So I thought Conor Barron was going to, that was the only one, but everybody else, my shorthand was anybody who's had a great game for Rangers this season, get them out on the park and hope that they have another great game tonight. That's the only way we're going to beat or get anything out of Athletic Club Bilbao. And it didn't look like it was working at all. So it's right. Sorry, you know the team anyway. But we went with the three at the back. I thought we should maybe go with Tav at centre half. I just kind of edged it out. Tav could probably go at centre half to get Dujon Sterling up against Nico Williams, clearly the best player in the Athletic Club roster. I'm getting chased by the wee sweepy van. The way Dujon Sterling was going to be chasing Nico Williams in my mind, but Tav was playing wide. I think Tav was playing, I think, wide right, kind of right wing back. Dujon Sterling, Robin Proper in the middle, and Leon Balogun on the left hand side with three centre halves. It was Yilmaz who got the nod at left back or left wing back, and that's a comment on the fact that the fact that he's not going to be very good in the air because he's so small, and they are tremendous at set pieces and they're big bears. Athletic Club Bilbao. I've gone half an hour already. Sorry, troops. But he got the choice, and then it was Conor Barron. Sorry, Conor Barron was not in midfield. It was Bailey Rice and Nico Raskin. Is kind of sitting two. I thought you then had Yanis Hadji. I think he was in the left at that point in time. Yanis Hadji, Cherny, and it was Dessers up front. So there's no Egaman. Have I missed somebody? I've probably missed somebody. There was no Egaman, and I was trying to work out if we were are we playing kind of 3-4-3 here, or is it 3-5? 2-1. What position we played, and it was pretty clear it was a 4-4-1 after about 11 minutes, where we went down to 10 men. It happened right in front of me. It's total chaos on European nights because so many people don't know how to work the QR code thing, and it just, even if you don't know how to work it, it still just takes time. It takes more time than being on the smart card. Again, that's just all part of the chaos. All part of the chaos of Rangers doing fantastically in Europe at a time where the club almost didn't want to have to stage any games at Ibrox because it wasn't ready in time, and then it's mucked up the ticket system, and you kind of get the tickets on your smart card now, and they're probably trying to phase out the smart cards. It's just it doesn't make sense. It's not going smoothly, but real life doesn't go smoothly, and we are the realest team there is, the realest club there is. And I couldn't settle down. I was really concentrating on what was happening. There was a guy come in and sat behind me. This seat behind me is always free. It's always gone spare. It's the one seat in Ibrox is no a season ticket. And in European games, somebody will come in there who's a head case, a nut job, whatever. Just go up, and it's like this is what I live for, European football. And yet I can't concentrate on it because of somebody going nuts. I've had a bit of problems with a few folk in there this season, but it's just one of these things. It's part of the fun of the fair. But the night the fella comes in, again, he comes in late. He's not getting in time, that's fine, I accept that, and he slams down behind me, and I can just hear straight like, fucking useless, you are fucking crap proper. What the fuck are you playing him for, Ferguson? I'm like, for fuck's sake. This is all I need now, just a guy who's, it's a tough enough task we've got here, but a guy who's going to be ultra negative all night, just hoping something goes wrong, and right on cue, it did go wrong. But it was almost like, by the end of the night, you're chatting away to the guy, and he's a good laugh and all that, and he's just encouraging the team, and just, it's the same as the rest is. And it kind of corresponded exactly to what happened with Rangers. On the part, we did not play well in that first 10 minutes or so. It looked like Athletic Club were going to run all over the top of us. We could hardly get out our own box, never mind our own half. That's the way I remembered it anyway. And I think the foul, it was a foul by Proper. Somebody was going through, all sorts of mistakes, no doubt. I've totally forgotten them all. exactly what happened. It was well outside the box as far as I was concerned, but it goes to VAR. You're thinking that's no for a penalty. So I still don't know. I don't know if it was like deemed a really violent contact by Robin Proper after they had a look at it in VAR, or it was deemed that he was the last man and this fellow was going to, whoever he fouled was going to go through on goals. But it get reviewed to a red card. It got upgraded to a red card, and that was it. Robin Proper was off, and we were down to 10 men after 11 minutes, and just as the boy behind it was like, oh, his oh, his dreams of doom had come true in Awana as soon as he'd sat down. But Rangers then started performing, and everybody starts getting on. Everybody kind of circles the wagons, and Rangers just bedded in, and the Athletic Club seemed to be struggling. We still had moments. You're wanting Dessers to do what you really want him to finish his chances. I think he had a couple of misses. I can't really remember. I just remember in the stroke at half time, the ball landing on his the big screen showing him. Just we go off the park at half time, we're waiting for you're just wanting to get through the minutes at that point in time. Get to 20 minutes, get to 30 minutes, get to 40 minutes. We kept surviving. Just get to half time now. Don't let them score. I think they'd had a free kick or something into injury time in the first half, and then the ball. 3 minutes injury time, and I thought, what the fuck's he getting 3 minutes for? And he turns around to the guy behind me, VAR. Oh, aye, VAR. And he immediately says to somebody else, it's VAR, mate, VAR, because that's why it's 3 minutes. I wasn't asking, pal. It was funny. But next thing was a ball goes into the box from us into the Athletic Club box, and there's about 3 or 4 of their defenders trying to launch themselves at it, and it lands in the head of Cyril Dessers, who just heads it right over the bar from about, it seemed like from the penalty spot almost. And it's one of those moments. I love Dessers in his own way. I get why we play him. I know everything he's good at, but these are the moments. It just hurts so much when you need a goal so much. I just remember as the final whistle went, they're showing him up on the big screen. He's looking about, going, oh, God, would you believe that? Would you believe that? As if to say, did you see that ball landing on my head there? I'm just mind my own business now. A fitna lands on my head. In a penalty box of all places, in a European quarter-final. What the I mean, what are you supposed to do? Something like that. But no, it was... Big Cyril was running himself into the ground, and he was getting a few fouls. Does it? No, he likes to hit the deck. He can work a wee foul, and you're thinking maybe we're going to end up getting them a wee red card. Sometimes the refs like to even that out, but there was one incident when Yanis Hadji, I think it was him that got fouled out wide left. Yanis Hadji had a fantastic game tonight. He worked it. He worked it, and as soon as it went down to 10 men, his work rate was phenomenal, and it was the inches, the game of inches. It was full extent, trying to get anything they possibly could out of this game, and he took a bad, I thought it was a bad foul out in the wing. Was it somebody else? Was Hadji pointing to whoever should get booked, and the referee come running over, and you thought, he's maybe going to red card this guy. He's got real intent, but he gets the yellow card out, and you think, oh, okay, but he gives it to Barry. It's, first of all, I'm booking the Rangers manager. Oh, you thought I was going to bow to the pressure of the crowd? No, I'm booking your own manager first. What do you think of that? No, I'll book the Athletic Club guy. He's only getting a yellow. You ain't get any easy red out of me. So that was that. Down the tunnel at half time, 0-0. Come into second half, and Athletic Club just upped the pressure. No changes for Rangers at that point in time. I'm thinking maybe we should get Egaman on. He can work the magic. He maybe knows he can a bit more physical perhaps than Dessers, a bit more able to hold the ball up, because in a game like that it's not just about scoring the goals, it's about being able to hold the ball up and give your defence a break. So we went to the flat back 4. I think it was 4 across the middle with Dessers on his own up front. Who's that? It's the Rangers players. I'm trying to work out what one it is, but it's the Rangers players getting feted by their fans. So 4-4 one man. In the second half, Athletic Club stepped it up a bit. First 10 minutes, I think we were quite comfortable, and then they really started to kind of pile it on. But we'd already bedded in. We'd already done that thing of when you know there's a chance, you need to see an instant reaction, a positive one from your team, a negative one from the opposition when you get down to 10 men. And that's exactly what happened after 11 minutes of that game. And into the second half, it was continuing for about the first 10 minutes, and then we had... In the first half, sorry, to illustrate what I'm talking about, we had Yilmaz. I remember the bit with Yilmaz. Nico Williams, who was going down the right-hand side for a change, but that's a guy we were talking about. It's all about pullbacks. Anaki Williams on the right, Nico Williams on the left. They've got the big target man up front who looks pure Aussie rules, number 21. Looks like an Aussie rules player. The way he was, just his physique, and also the socks been doing at his ankles, and the shots were getting pulled up and that. he just needed to roll the sleeves up, literally right up to the top, and that would have been him. Pure Aussie rules, but they're pulling the ball back, and there was young Yilmaz sliding in, and they can deal with the pullbacks they want against Fenerbahce, against Roma, against who else did they beat? Slavia Prague. All the teams that Athletic Club have beaten this season in Europe, but they did not reckon with our tiny Turks tush. Our tiny Turks tiny tush put in a titanic performance, glancing the ball away. Big Balogun was getting a foot in there when he shouldn't get a foot in there, and they were just timing the tackles to perfection, right on the cusp of giving away fouls, giving away penalties, but so often just doing it right. They took it on board. They took on board the challenge. Suddenly, we weren't the favourites anymore. We weren't expected to do anything. The pressure was off, and this team does love that. But Athletic Club really started making the substitutions at a moment. We ended up the tiny tush Turk. He was getting knackered in that left hand side, so up against Inaki Williams. So we substituted him. I don't know, 60 minutes, the hour mark or something like that. Well, just before that, we brought on Hefty. I think it was after Bailey Rice got injured. Bailey Rice got injured. It was just run about the hour mark. There was a whole range of incidents right then. It was an incident-packed game, but when Hefty come on you're thinking, well, he's got the physicality, but Yilmaz has been playing well, and Hefty won his very first tackle, and then about 3 times he gets skinned down that left-hand side. But I think Yilmaz went off because he gets skinned down the left-hand side. The ball got thrown into the box, and there was the big number 21. I just can't remember his name. I was talking about him last night as well in the preview pod. I think he's the fellow they got on the cheap. He's from Vitoria, I know, in Alava. I don't know if he played for Alaves, but he's from that area. Anyway, the ball gets slid into the box, and he missed a bit of a sitter. He came in, the ball was travelling fast, and you have to kind of throw yourself at it, but it was a bit of a sitter he missed, and that had a real knock-on effect to what happened in the next few minutes, and maybe a knock-on effect to actually end up the game finishing 0-0 because he gets subbed off. Yilmaz, I think, got off because he'd get done down the left, so Hefty comes on. And initially, it looks like he's going to get, his concentration isn't the best. He's got the pace, he's got the physique, he can cover the yards, but I just don't think he's got the football brain. And he's 0 assists or goals, I think, Hefty, either, for somebody who gets forward so well. But I thought he was going to get taken to pieces. It didn't really quite happen, but something happened, and again, I've missed it. I don't know if it was the big number 21. There was a clash just over the halfway line, just into the Athletic Club half of the pitch, near the centre circle, and down goes Bailey Rice, and it was a badging straight away. All the players are from both sides are urging the trainers to get on there, and he was down there for a good 6 or 7 minutes, and it was really worrying. But hopefully, as I say, all is well. He was giving us a thumbs up on his way off the park. We then have Athletic Club going through on goal, and they brought on, for the big number 21, they brought on Berenguer, the number 7, who's wee fella, but I know he plays up front in that role sometimes as well. The kind of one up front, or either, I think sometimes he maybe sits in between the 2 Williams brothers in the attacking 3 of their 4-2-3-1 formation, Athletic Club. But he comes on, and instantly the ball goes to the back post. I wasn't really sure what had happened, and Liam Kelly, a massive night for Liam Kelly, and especially when we're going to need our goalkeeper to perform. He had a save in the first half where he leapt to his left spectacularly at the Copeland end and catches the ball as well and held on to it, and it looked like real 1940s kind of Desperate Dan type save, straight from a comic strip. Maybe one for the cameras, as they always say. I don't know, but I think he had to hold on to the ball anyway. I need to see that one back in the telly. I'm at a bad angle for judging just how great a save it was, but it looked great. And it gave him a boost, it gave the crowd a boost, it gave his defence a boost. We kept getting the wee inches all night. But that was just a start for Liam Kelly, who I was favouring Battened. I thought we should go with Battened because he's had big games, he's had big moments. He's also had huge ricks as well, and big massive mistakes, but he's had big positive moments. I thought we're just going to have to hope that the guys who are capable of big positive moments could all do it tonight. I don't remember Liam Kelly ever doing anything spectacular for Rangers. I can't say that anymore though. Nobody else can say that now because whatever happened, the ball went to the back post. We were kind of caught on the break. Liam Kelly seems to get to the ball first and save it from whoever had the first shot. Then Berenguer comes in behind and cuts in the rebound from a tight angle. 1-0 to them. I think it was just in the 76th minute. Absolute desperation, and then there's a VAR check. It's a moment of living. It was almost like I don't know. It was every incident you could ever think of in Europe. All the nights, all the different things that happen. Like the Katowice medics bag getting thrown off the park by John Brown, the soonest shortening the pitch against Dinamo Kiev. All these strange things. No, Braga. It's a game against Braga. If Portugal are 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go, that's us. Well, we gave it a good shot, and we got ourselves into the latter stages again of European football. We're winning 3-2. Just what the hell's happened there? Joe Aribo's just beat everybody in the park. Yanis Hadji's introduced himself with his second and third goal for Rangers, spectacular style. You can't. You've just got to be there. You've got to be in it. You've got to be in the raffle. You've got to buy the ticket, and we are. And tonight it was another one. What the hell's happening? It was a bit like a kinder version of what happened with Alan McGregor against Napoli. The penalties, he's constantly saving penalties until eventually, it's going to get a retake. I'll save that as well then until eventually they have to change the penalty taker to Napoli to put a penalty against us. But that was a harsher result on the night. It goes to VAR. The VAR doesn't seem to be working properly. It's just a big black screen this time. It was absolutely fine when we were getting somebody sent off in the 11th minute, telling us it was a red card check. And then as a check for, it comes up with a check for a penalty. I'm thinking, we're going to get a penalty. Fantastic. How could be a check for a penalty? They've just scored. If they've scored, you just give them the goal. If there was any kind of foul committed in the way that the ball got into the back of the net. Because the screen had been black for so long, I thought it's probably a mistake. They're doing it both in Spanish, although I don't know, they should probably be Basque for the. It's been Basque for the old for the Basques that were there tonight, and also doing it in English. And I thought they've probably picked the wrong one. There's somebody out. There's a French official or something like that in there, and they've just picked the French. Will know if the French is for the south, he'll know Basque as well. Anyway, there'll be somebody in there who's picked the wrong option for the screen. He's uploaded it the wrong way. It's not a penalty they're checking for, but it was a penalty check. It turned out, and I'm thinking, all right, they're going to go up 2-0 now. They're going to get a penalty as well. This shows you how UEFA totally favour these big teams. But no, I think what's happened, there was the boy in front of me was telling Craig that fell in front of us. He was saying he must be on his phone. That he says no, it's the goal when he put the ball in the back of the net. Berenguer, it was offside. But before that, there was a foul. I don't know if it's Liam Kelly that's fouled the person. It was all an absolute blur to me at that point in time. But it's a penalty to them. It's still 0-0, but they've got a penalty. And I saw it was Berenguer that was going to take it. I'm sure it was him that scored. Maybe I'm wrong again. Maybe it wasn't him that put the ball in the back of the net that was disallowed. And I thought he's thinking, no, I'm going to get this goal. They just said they had plenty of time to have big celebrations, Athletic Club. And there was a whole sense, you could feel the sense coming from that wee corner of, yes, it's happening. We are on our way to our own stadium to win this trophy. No one can stop us. It's our date with destiny. He's only been in Europe for the last fucking 7 years, guys. We've had a bit more destiny with Europe since then. And then it was taken away from them. I think psychologically, and Berenguer decides he's going to take the penalty, but he must have been kind of gutted as well. No, a good. But even then, that was me. I think I'm just kidding myself on. So we're all shouting. I never thought I'd hear myself shouting, "Go on, Liam! Come on, Liam!" with such ferocity. I wasn't expecting Liam Kelly to be in goals in a situation like this. And you got a vibe. You did get a vibe, and it'd been going that way. The vibe had been set from about the 12th or 13th minute of this game, increasing determination, an increasing sense of magic, an increasing sense of destiny. He saves it. It's a fucking great save. The place just went mental. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. But it did not shake them. It probably did to some extent, but they just kept piling on to us. They were getting more and more possession. We're falling further and further back. What happened? We had Diggerman coming on for Dessers. We had other people coming on for other people. Who the hell else come on? Cherny, he's run himself into the ground, so Ross McCausland comes on for him. I think Bajrami come on for Hadji. Conor Barron comes on for Bailey Rice for his injury. We'd already had Hefty coming on for Yilmaz. So we've used up all our substitutes. And down goes. They're piling it on. Athletic Club. My neck was getting a crick just watching them firing the ball into our box. We couldn't get our foot on the ball at all. We couldn't get any possession. But Iggerman started working some charm. Iggerman was getting wee bits and wee spaces and little moments at time and showing just little split seconds of composure. There was one between him and Conor Barron we should have got more from. a part of me started believing we were going to win the thing, but I didn't really start believing we were going to win it, because 0-0 will do fine here, thanks very much, until we went down to 9 men, until Dujon Sterling gets into the box, comes into the box, and it's a corner to Athletic Club, and they're waiting to take the corner, and you know that all their goals this season have been for cutbacks, or they've been for fouls, or they've been for corners, and you're just waiting, constantly waiting for them to have the corner, for them to have the flick on, have the cut back from one of the Williams brothers, or one of the Williams brothers to go in there and get the 1-2 and slap it into their net. It's just this, it's going to happen in the last minute, and then it will be the destiny, it will be that this trophy is theirs. And they're waiting for me to take this corner, but we've got somebody in the deck, and then we're taking Dujon Sterling off the park, and folk behind me are shouting, keep him in, why are you fucking getting him up? Keep him down there until we get the sub ready. Keep him down there until we get the sub ready. And it was at that moment in time I just thought, wait a minute, we've used all our subs. We're going down to 9 men. We're going down to 9 men. Maybe I've crowded that wrong. Maybe there was something else happening. Maybe Barry just decided, nah, fuck it. I'm not going to break up a winning team here. I'm not going to break up a drawing team, which is the equivalent of a winning team when we're playing at Ibrox these days. But no, I think we'd used up all our subs, and it was 12 minutes of injury time. Now, I don't know how far we're into the injury time. I think we're halfway through it at this point. It's like, you couldn't make this up. Then we started going forward. We started getting the ball up to their half of the park, and we're winning free kicks and all that. And I think going down to 10 men kind of put them off a bit. As going down to 9 men, I think they shot themselves. I think they thought, no, it's not. We defended that first corner, and I think things probably got a bit easier after that. It didn't feel like it at the time, but we won a free kick and I'm going crazy, and then we won a corner and I'm going mental, and then the corner, nothing happens to it, but the referee just put his arms towards the tunnel, and that was that. And look, as far as I'm concerned, we're halfway towards just getting out of the quarterfinals of European competition with our heads held high. You know, if it collapses over there next week, then it can still be embarrassing. And I think the only real danger now is we go over there thinking they're not up to much. They're not up to much. That would suit a team like Athletic Club, who don't have all the flair in the world. They've got plenty of it, but they do have a sense of belief, and they're highly organised, they're highly physical, and I think they will be smarting, and they'll have a week of getting slagged, I'd imagine, for this result. They'll be out there just ready to blow us away next week, and it'll be a frenzied atmosphere. Their away support was really good, really noisy. Flying the flags of Ireland in the face. You know what it felt like? It was when we played Wrexham. I'd never seen we played Wrexham in the Challenge Cup. The Colts played them here at Ibrox a Saturday afternoon. I think Rangers, the first team, were playing on the Sunday. But I come along to that game, and I thought, I've never actually seen Connah's Quay Nomads. I've seen somebody else, another actual Welsh league club somewhere in something, but I thought I've never actually seen one of the Wrexham, Newport, Swansea, Cardiff, the most famous of the Welsh clubs, the ones that play in the English system. And we're playing Wrexham, who are about to get a lot more famous shortly afterwards. But it was horrible. It was all kids and all that. They were there watching the Colts and the old fat gits like myself, but they were getting a bit wide, and they're all Celtic stuff everywhere. Flags of Ireland and their Celtic scarves and all that. And I thought, well, there was about 1,000 Celtic scarves in the away end on Saturday, and none of us had anything but praise for Hibs last Saturday, so why get offended at Athletic Club fans? I think it's because they're doing it deliberately, but I dare say there'll be wee wind-ups from Rangers fans in Europe over the years. It's one of these things, but I imagine they will have a hell of an atmosphere, maybe with a little political angle to it as well next week. But I remember when I went to Bilbao in 2007, the summer of 2007, a week's holiday, I did the tour of the old San Mamés, the original San Mamés, La Catedral. I paid my respects to Pachichi, and I hope Rangers captain does next week as well. But I remember going about the bars in the old town, beautiful bars. Anyway, on holiday, I'm also going to hit the bars, but they're all kind of, lots of mahogany and big fancy mirrors, lots of brass, beautiful atmosphere, really laid back, and you get the pinchos. You get the pinchos, and the pinchos is phenomenal. I don't know what the situation will be for Bears next week, but I imagine just go in there and get yourself the pinchos, and what they do is they will offer you a wee, the bill. At the end of the day, you get the pinchos and you get your wee plate and all that. The pinchos are sitting up in the bar if you still do it the same way. The tapas, but it's pinchos. You've got to stick an X in it to make it Basque. And it's like fish is involved. I'm not a big fish fan, but Jesus Christ, some of the stuff there is just absolutely irresistible, and it's all very fresh. It's just beautifully made, and it's beautiful to look at, never mind eat. But the staff, and the same we went along to San Sebastian during that holiday as well, went to Get Show and all. The staff in the bar, I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but it seemed it happened too many times because obviously, looking at the state of me now, I ate every chance I could get. When I was over in Bilbao, over in the Basque Country, as you in the way out, you're paying for your drinks, I think, as you go along. But in the way out, the pinchos, maybe you don't pay for the drinks. Can't really remember. They just go pinchos as well. We put that in the bill, mate. Okay, was it tres? You have tres pieces? No, it was 4, mate. I had 4, but okay. And was it 2? Just 2 you had? No, I had 3, mate. They always undercharged by 1. They'd always undercharged by 1, and I feel as if it must be a thing they're doing. I don't know why, because I was quite obviously not local. I don't know if they thought they were necessarily going to come back, but maybe that's to encourage you to come back, and it's just a kind of basic manners. But I feel as if maybe I redeemed all those pinchos that I could have by being honest and paying for all those extra pizzas. It's maybe 4 or 5 I could have got away with. The 4 or 5 goals that some of us were expecting Athletic Club to score against our team tonight didn't happen. 0-0, and one of the most beautiful 0-0s of all time. Rangers with 9 men on the park, and let's not worry about next week. Let's not worry about next week just yet. Let's just drink this in and savour a fantastic performance at Ibrox. And next week, primarily for me, is all about not getting destroyed, not making a fool of ourselves, and having our heads held high. But we're now in a situation we have to go for it. We have to hope they're going to do the same as Fenerbahce or Nice. Perhaps just underestimate us on their own place, and we can take them. We can take them all the way, and there'll be 6 games at Ibrox over the remainder of the season rather than the 5. Folks, you'll be glad to know I'm ranting on too long again. I think it's because I'm generally tired. I'm away on holiday. Next week there'll be no preview for the Aberdeen game. There'll be no match report, no post-match reaction for the Aberdeen game. There won't even be a build-up pod for the Athletic second leg, I wouldn't imagine. I'll definitely be back with a post-match reaction to the second leg, but I should still be away from home at that point in time. Basically, if you see any pods from me in the next week, the holiday's not going well. It's not going well. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing on holiday. That will be a bad sign. But no, folks, going to take a wee break. It's that time of year. Certain of us in the house can only get a holiday right now at this time of year, so I'm going to have to. We'll do the preview pod for Aberdeen game right now. I hope we pump them, but I don't really care as long as we don't pick up any more injuries for next week, for next Thursday. The post-match reaction to Aberdeen, God, that's just God, don't like going there. They think they're our big rivals. What an absolute joke! It's no like Athletic Club against Real Madrid. You know, the Clásico Viejo. You know, that's what they want it to be, but nah, it's 2 European trophy winners for Scotland. And the preview pod to Athletic Club, I did an hour and 46 minutes about Athletic Club yesterday, which was just, sorry, it was just turgid as this post-match reaction pod is. And there was the preview pod for the Hibs game. You know, it's got Hibs brackets and Athletic Club preview pod. Last Friday I did a bit about the last time we played Athletic Club in Europe at Ibrox back in 1969. So there's plenty of Athletic Club stuff in that. Basically, I've given you far too much, folks. I've got to keep these things more brief. But it's been an epic night, and you're going to get a break for a week, so there's plenty of... You can take your time. You just watch this 10 minutes at a time, he says at the very end of the pod. Feel free, obviously, you know, next time we're playing in Europe, right, you can join me for my party on the steps. I'm going to... It's the Fran and Anna on the decks. I don't mean Fran and Anna on the turntable, I just mean they're actually on the decks. It's Alexander Brothers will be playing. But you know, a bit of Lena Martel, stuff like that. There's going to be bourbons and custard creams, and the Tetley's decaf will be absolutely flowing. I don't know why I didn't get a turn out tonight. We'll get another go after the next European game. And whatever happens on Sunday, whatever happens ahead of this game, we've got Diamande back, we've got John Suter back next week, and the whole thing is let the music play. It won't get away. Cheers, troops.